Your kitchen likely has a giant humming box keeping food cold. It runs 24/7. But step into an Amish home, and you'll find a different kind of magic. A pantry, built hundreds of years ago, stores food for months on end, with no power, no wires, nothing but old-world wisdom. How do they do it? How did they master preservation long before we had any of our tech? The answer lies in their very way of life. And that's the absolute heart of it. For the Amish, that pantry isn't just a workaround for not having a fridge. It's a statement. It's a central part of their entire world, built on principles that have nothing to do with what's new and shiny. You see, for most of human history, figuring out how to keep food from spoiling was one of the biggest challenges there was. For thousands of years, people had the same basic toolkit: drying, smoking, and salting. It worked, but it wasn't perfect. The real game changer, the thing the Amish would go on to master, is actually a lot more modern than you might think. Canning is only about 200 years old. It was invented back in the early 1800s, originally to help feed Napoleon's armies on long marches. A guy in Britain patented the first tin can, and then a scientist in France named Louis Pasteur figured out how to heat food just right to kill the germs, making it all much, much safer. Suddenly, you could seal summer away in a jar. While the rest of the world saw this as a stepping stone to bigger and better tech, the Amish saw something different. They saw a perfect system, a way to be self-sufficient, to rely on their own hard work, and to keep their families fed through the winter without being tied to an electrical grid. So while most American kitchens eventually filled with the hum of a refrigerator, the Amish were quietly turning their pantries into libraries of food. They didn't just keep the old ways alive, they perfected them, turning preservation into a tradition that's as much about community and family as it is about food. So the question isn't just how they do it. The real question is why. Why is this one skill so fundamental to their identity? That's what we're going to find out. We're going inside the Amish pantry to understand the deep wisdom they hold and what we might learn from it. To understand the Amish pantry, you have to get one thing straight. It's not about what they're rejecting. It's about what they're holding on to. This isn't some romantic return to the past. It's a very practical, very deliberate decision about where to place your trust. Do you trust a complex, fragile power grid and a global supply chain? Or do you trust your own hands, your own land, and your own community? For the Amish, the answer is simple. Self-sufficiency isn't a hobby or a weekend project. It's the bedrock of their entire world. It's a freedom that most of us have never experienced. The freedom from a grocery bill. The freedom from a power outage shutting down your life. Think about it. That pantry, filled with jars from floor to ceiling, is their bank account. It's their insurance policy. It's a physical library of all the hard work they put in from spring until fall, ready to be cashed in during the cold, lean months of winter. This creates a powerful, closed loop. The food comes from their soil. It's harvested by their families. It's preserved in their kitchens, using recipes passed down from their great-grandmothers. And then it's eaten at their own tables. Nothing is wasted. Everything has a purpose. And every single jar of jam or pickled beans isn't just food. It's a story. It's a piece of their cultural history, a skill passed from one generation to the next. They aren't just preserving peaches, they're preserving their identity. But there's another layer to this, and it's just as important: the idea of separation. To be part of the public electrical grid is to be tied to the outside world, the English world, as they call it. That wire running into your house isn't just carrying electricity. It's carrying a connection to a society with values and temptations they've chosen to live without. By cutting that cord, they maintain a degree of separation. The pantry is what makes that possible. It removes one of the biggest dependencies anyone has on the outside world: the need for a constant, uninterrupted food supply. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This doesn't mean they're against all modern tools. Far from it. You see, the rules aren't about being stuck in the 1800s. The rules are about avoiding dependence. This is a deep, powerful kind of security that no refrigerator, no matter how smart, can ever offer. So how do they build that security? It starts with a shovel. It starts by digging down, deep into the earth, right beside the foundation of the house. This isn't just a basement. It's a root cellar, a living piece of technology powered by the planet itself. The Amish understood something fundamental. The ground beneath our feet is a massive natural battery for temperature. A few feet down, the Earth stays at a surprisingly constant temperature all year round. It doesn't freeze solid in January, and it doesn't bake in July. It's naturally cool, stable, and predictable. This is the foundation of their entire system. The walls are built thick, often with fieldstone pulled from their own land, or with heavy, rough-sawn timbers. Then the earth is packed back up against it. The goal isn't just to build a room, it's to build a pocket of insulation. The thick walls and the surrounding dirt act as a barrier, keeping the wild temperature swings of the outside world outside. What you get is a space that holds a steady, cool temperature, usually somewhere between 35 and 45 degrees Fahrenheit. It's the perfect natural refrigerator. But a sealed-off, cool, dark box is a recipe for mold and rot. And this is where the real genius comes in. It's not just a box, it's a breathing room. Most traditional Amish root cellars have a simple but brilliant ventilation system. There are usually two pipes. One pipe runs down low to the floor, pulling in the cooler, denser air from outside. A second pipe is placed high up on the opposite wall, often leading out through the roof. You know how warm air rises? Well, any heat given off by the produce or any warmer air that naturally collects rises up and flows right out of that top pipe. As it leaves, it creates a gentle vacuum that pulls more cool, fresh air in through the bottom pipe. It's a constant, slow, silent circulation. No fans, no electricity, just physics. This steady airflow keeps the humidity just right. Not so dry that vegetables shrivel up, but not so damp that everything mildews. It prevents the air from going stagnant and keeps the food fresh for months on end. Inside, it's a model of organization. The walls are lined with sturdy wooden shelves, packed with those hundreds of glass jars we talked about. Each one is labeled, a neat library of summer's bounty. Below the shelves, you'll find wooden bins. This is where the root part of the root cellar comes in. One bin might be filled with potatoes, another with carrots, another with onions. Often, they're layered in sand or sawdust to keep them separate and dry. Apples and pears are stored carefully, making sure none of them are touching. Everything has its place. Everything is designed to last. Think about it. This structure is built once with materials from their own land. It has no moving parts. It uses zero electricity. It cannot break down. A power outage that would spoil a modern freezer in days means absolutely nothing to a root cellar. It will be just as cool and reliable tomorrow as it was 100 years ago. This isn't a replacement for a refrigerator. It's an entirely different class of technology, one built on deep observation of the natural world, designed for absolute, unshakable resilience. But that cellar, as brilliant as it is, doesn't fill itself. When the harvest comes in, the real work begins, and it doesn't happen alone. Imagine an Amish kitchen in late summer. The air is thick with the sweet smell of peaches and the sharp scent of vinegar. It's hot, it's humid, and it's a hive of activity. This isn't a chore for one person. It's a community-wide event. You'll see 3, sometimes 4 generations working side by side. A grandmother, her hands moving with the easy confidence of someone who has done this tens of thousands of times, shows a teenager the exact moment a jam has set. Young children sit on the porch, their small fingers shelling peas or snapping beans, learning the rhythm of the work from their very first years. This is how knowledge is passed on. Not from a cookbook, but from hand to hand, from mother to daughter to neighbor. It's a living library of skills, where the price of admission is a willingness to help. The sheer scale of it is hard to comprehend. We're not talking about making a few jars of pickles as a weekend hobby. We're talking about processing hundreds of pounds of produce to feed a family through the entire winter. Every single jar on those cellar shelves represents hours of this shared labor. And the variety is stunning. Of course, you'll see the staples: rows of bright green beans, golden corn, and vibrant red tomatoes, ready to become the base for winter soups and stews. You'll see peaches, pears, and applesauce, capturing the sweetness of summer in a jar. But look closer. That's where you see the real artistry. You'll find jars of pickled red beet eggs, a regional specialty. You'll find chow chow, a tangy relish of mixed vegetables that's different in every family. There are endless kinds of jams, jellies, and spiced apple butters that taste like nothing you could ever buy in a store. They even preserve their own meat. Jars of beef, pork, and chicken packed and sealed, ensuring they have protein long after the weather turns cold. And of course, there's sauerkraut, fermenting slowly, a tradition brought over from the old country. Each one of these recipes is a thread connecting them back through time. This isn't just food, it's heritage. A specific way of spicing pickles might have been passed down from a great-great-grandmother. It's a taste of their family's history. For us, a full pantry might be a matter of convenience. For the Amish, it's the very definition of security. Every sealed lid is a promise. It's a promise of a warm meal in February. It's a statement of independence. It's proof that together, they can provide for themselves, no matter what happens in the outside world. This whole process, the planting, the harvesting, the canning, it's the glue that holds their community together. It's a shared ritual that reinforces their values, strengthens their bonds, and ensures that the most important skills they have will never be forgotten. But that glass jar, as powerful as it is just one tool in a much bigger toolbox. The Amish mastery of food doesn't stop once the canning lids have popped. That's just one chapter in a much older book. They have a whole library of skills for making food last, techniques that go back centuries, long before canning was even invented. Take one of the simplest, most powerful methods, fermentation. Think about sauerkraut. In our world, it's something you buy in a bag at the grocery store. In the Amish world, it's alive. It's nothing more than shredded cabbage, salt, and thyme. They pack it into crocks and let nature do the work. It's not about sealing food away from the world. It's about using the right kind of invisible helpers, beneficial bacteria, to transform it into something that will last for months, packed with nutrients. It's a living food, a tradition brought over from the old country, and a taste of pure, sharp history. Then there's the magic of vinegar. Pickling is a true art form in the Amish kitchen. You'll find more than just dill and bread and butter pickles. You'll find jars of bright purple red beet eggs, a Lancaster County specialty. These can be stored for years and then rehydrated for pies and sauces in the dead of winter. It's a simple, patient technology that requires no electricity, no freezer, just an understanding of how nature works. And of course, there's meat. Long before refrigeration, the only way to keep meat was to cure it with salt and smoke it. The smokehouse was just as important as the root cellar. This skill ensured they had a steady supply of protein through the harshest months, a deep security that a freezer could never truly match. Each of these skills, canning, fermenting, pickling, drying, curing, is a different tool for a different job. It's an interlocking system. It's a complete body of knowledge that allows them to look at a field of corn, a bushel of apples, or a side of pork and know a dozen different ways to make sure none of it is ever lost. This isn't about having a few fun hobbies. It's a deep, practical wisdom. It's a library of lost skills, written not in books, but in the hands and hearts of the community, ensuring that no matter what, they will always be able to provide. All those skills, that deep library of knowledge, it raises a really important question. Why? Why go to all this trouble? In a world where you can buy anything, anytime, why spend weeks turning a garden into a wall of glass jars? If you think the answer is just about having food for winter, you're missing the most important piece of the puzzle. For the Amish, preserving the harvest isn't just a practical chore. It's how they build their world. Picture a kitchen in late summer. It's hot. The air is thick with the sweet smell of peaches or the sharp tang of vinegar. 3 generations of women are standing around a long wooden table. A grandmother, her hands moving with an old, practiced rhythm, shows her teenage granddaughter the exact way to slice an apple for apple butter. The girl's mother is at the wood-fired stove, stirring a massive pot, keeping the heat just right. This scene plays out in Amish homes every single year. And it's not just about efficiency. It's a living classroom. In that kitchen, More than just skills are being passed down. Values are being transferred. The granddaughter isn't just learning a recipe. She's learning patience. She's learning the importance of not wasting a single thing the earth provides. She's learning that the best things in life come from hard work, done together. This is the heartbeat of their identity. The act of working side by side, day after day, forges bonds that are unbreakable. It ties the generations together. It reinforces the idea that the community is more important than the individual. Everyone has a role, from the youngest child snapping beans to the oldest woman who knows the secret to perfect pickles. They're not just canning food, they are canning their culture. Every family has their own specific recipe for chow chow or their own way of making red beet eggs. These aren't just instructions, they're a link to the past. They're a taste of heritage, a direct connection to ancestors who brought these same traditions over from the old country centuries ago. When an Amish family opens a jar of home-canned beef in the middle of January, they're not just eating a meal. They're tasting the memory of a summer day, the feeling of shared labor, and the security that comes from knowing they provided it for themselves with their own hands. It's a powerful statement of who they are. It's a quiet rejection of a world that values convenience over connection and consumption over creation. By choosing the simple jar and the wood-fired stove, they are actively choosing a life of simplicity, sustainability, and deep reliance on each other. That pantry filled from floor to ceiling isn't just a stockpile of food, it's a physical monument to their way of life. Every shelf is loaded with evidence of their core beliefs: hard work, family, faith, and community. It's a library of their identity, written in peaches and green beans, one sealed jar at a time. And that food doesn't just sit on the shelf. It's the very foundation of their social lives, the centerpiece of every gathering that holds them together. When you look at that Amish pantry, humming with silent purpose, you see more than just shelves of food. You see a whole way of life. It's a powerful reminder that keeping food safe and available isn't just about clever tricks or fancy tools. It's about something deeper. It's about the connection to the land, to your community, and to the skills passed down through generations. These simple methods, like canning, aren't just practical. They're a direct reflection of a commitment to sustainable living and a deep connection to their heritage. The Amish choose this path not out of necessity, but out of principle. They've intentionally kept their ways simple, rejecting modern industrial shortcuts. This isn't just about preserving peaches. It's about preserving a way of life that values independence and community above all else. They've shown us that by making sure they have food year-round, they also reduce waste and maintain their independence from that long, fragile chain we call a supermarket. It's an enduring tradition, a living example of how important it is to keep practical skills alive. It means the knowledge of how to provide for yourself is never lost to simple convenience. It's a system built on trust and skill, not technology. And it makes you wonder, what other vital lessons have we forgotten in our race for convenience? What other old-world wisdom could drastically change how we approach food today, how we build security, and how we connect with each other? If this deep dive into self-reliance sparked something in you, a curiosity about these forgotten ways, or a desire to build a more resilient life, then you'll want to stick around. Because the more we explore these hidden corners of human ingenuity, the more we realize what we might have lost. Don't miss what's next in our search for the wisdom our modern world sometimes overlooks. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey.